Poway's been pretty aggressive, Scott. So I imagine that they will have a back to school plan and will be in sync. They're not one I'm worried about. San Diego Unified, I'm worried about, and Sweetwater because of their South Bay numbers. Imperial Valley is not looking good either. They're in the purple tier. Okay. All right, so I'm going to continue to monitor the questions as Garth now takes over. I want you to know today was Dawn and Michael Carey Day on ESPN2, I think. They had I swear to God, they had the first was the highlights, NFL films of the Super Bowl that Dawn worked here in San Diego. And then as I was getting ready to turn it off, they went right to the next one, and it was going to be Michael's game with the Patriots and the Giants. I'm like, oh, it's definitely Carey Day in the NFL,
Yeah.
So anyway, it's my pleasure to introduce Garth DeFelice. Garth, not only a Super Bowl official umpire in the NFL, and he was one of the people that the commissioners would lean on to help new referees and get the lay of the land going on crews where they needed a strong person on that crew from the umpire position, and he filled that role so well. And then he went in now as supervisor of officials for the West Coast, and mostly in the West Coast, and then works out of New York as well. And then he was chosen by Tony Careni to work as the first position coach for umpires in the Pac-12. And when he did that, he began to implement run zone coverage. And I got an opportunity to listen to him talk about it. And then we had a meeting, and he kind of mapped it out. And then he created the slides that are now in our mechanics manual. And if you want, I can put those up for you at any time, but they're in our manual. We all reference them and know what you're talking about, Garth, when you teach us more about run zone coverage. So everybody, welcome Garth DeFelice.
Well, thanks, Steve, and not because he's here, but because it's true. I always preface anything I'm going to say is I came out of this association, and George was our instructional chairman. Everybody who's involved with this has heard about George. If you didn't get to meet George, I'm sorry, but your present day George is Steve, and he's tantamount to being George. And it's a great association, and inventive, and a great instructional program, and it's a pleasure to be involved even to this date. So when Steve was interested in this, kind of how it really quickly evolved was when I got to the PAC, I got some influence. So I talked with Tony, and I said, I'm just tired of not everybody, but I would, you'd ask somebody, hey, did you see that? And they said, no, I was watching my guy. And I thought that was pretty nice to watch one guy when I'm watching six, okay, and being held accountable for six. And so Jim Blackwood was a supervisor of the Southland Conference, and he had this philosophy that he did on this zone concept of fouls that you would call or not call based on their proximity to the point of attack. And so I asked him for it, he gave it to me, and then I was thinking, this is exactly what I want to do for my zone concept. And so Tony bought into it, and Al Riveron bought into it. And so this is what we do in the league, and we do locally in San Diego. So let me share my screen, and I want to cover a lot of stuff. So I talk too fast, slow me down. I do have the slides, Steve. I think you need to make me a host. Nope, you did.
You are a host, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to optimize my screen. Okay,
so and then I am going to slow you down when I get messages.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I'm okay with that. Not a problem. So
they like your dog, Garth. They like your dog.
What's that?
They love your dog.
Are you guys seeing the PowerPoint though?
We are seeing the position PowerPoint. Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna go through this quickly, just for those who haven't seen it. It gives you some context about what I'm gonna talk about. Okay, so this is a 5-man initial responsibility type stuff, and it might be a little off from what you do locally, but like Steve said, these are in the PowerPoint, and I made the adjustment on the umpire, Steve. So, referees looking at the backs and the quarterback, line of scrimmage is doing their snap tackle, his or her snap tackle back pre-snap, both lines of scrimmage. And then the back judge is always going to the strength, and the umpire is going to start with the center and 2 guards. So these we went to in the league, we call it initial responsibility, because we had too many people saying, I didn't see that because I was watching my key. Keys are just at the snap, and then you officiate the play. Now, real quickly, I'll just pop this all up here, but bottom line is there's 4 zones. If you're on the line of scrimmage, you're either 1 or you're 4, and if you're the referee and umpire, you're 2 or you're 3. It all depends on where the point goes. Okay, so if the point of attack goes to the right, which would be the referee, he's going to be in 2. The line of scrimmage guy outside of him is in 1. Umpire is going to be zone 3, which is backside, and then the big picture look is zone 4. If it goes the other way, everything just switches. Now all of a sudden the other line of scrimmage official is in zone 1, umpire's in zone 2, referee in zone 3, which is immediately behind the point of attack, and then the offside line of scrimmage guy or girl is zone 4. So when you go through this in your mechanics manual, this speaks to all this, and it'll give you that dialogue on this. Okay, so putting it into practice, just real quickly, we have a run to the right. We have zone 1, which is just outside the point of attack, and zone 2 aligns with that because it's such an important area. Whoever it is, whether it's the referee and the head linesman or line judge, or if it's the umpire and the head linesman or line judge when it comes their way, those overlap, okay? And this isn't an exact science. We don't just stay with the tackle, because the diagram says you start in zone 2 and it's the tackle and the tight end. This is just for purposes of generalizing where people are.
I want to interrupt right now and there was a question about taking temperature at games. I do think that's a possibility that they may ask us to take our temperature with one of those little guns before as we enter the stadium. So, but I do that every day when I go to work out at the YMCA. They're asking for you to get closer to your mic. You're a little quiet.
Closer, I'll talk louder. How's that?
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Okay. So zone 3 is just behind the point of attack, and then zone 4 would be a big picture. I know when I came up to the association, we always talked about when you're on the offside of the line of scrimmage, you have the big picture. You're looking at everything to see those things. You're looking at a big view of what's going on there. Back judge, you don't get to play off, okay? You got to help at the second level, whether that's left or right, and it's a little bit more complicated when it's the umpire, but we can talk about that. Okay?
I want to stop right here and say on that, back up to that. This approach right here is getting rave reviews by our coaches. When the play goes to our referee side, they're very comfortable with this coverage. I'm going to tell you what they don't like when we go the other direction. Okay, go ahead.
So just turn it around. It's exactly the opposite. Runner goes to the left, basically the left. Okay, whoever the line of scrimmage person on that side is got just outside the point of attack, the front side of it. The umpire's got the point of attack, but those two overlap. Okay, referee's watching just behind the point of attack. That could be the center and the guard. It could be the center and the left guard. It could be the guard and the left tackle, the right tackle. You don't know. It's all that. You have to be dynamic on this for it to work, and everybody has to watch their zone and understand they have help. And then the head linesman has the backside. On this slide,
so this is the one that our coaches are not happy with, and they want to know. Why don't you add the back judge in here on this one too, Garth?
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. So what they're saying is they don't think we're getting a good look over here. And in our responsibilities, everybody's got to put on their big boy pants right now. and say, right now they're criticizing our umpire, because my answer to them is, well, the umpire is right there and he has that edge block. He's got zone 2. And they say, well, that's fine. He's not uh, he's not seeing it. Mike Lemieux says, where is over here? I don't know where over here is. I don't even know what your comment means. You got to write something a little more extensive on what I just said.
That's what you just said. You said the coaches are not happy when we're over here.
On this side, when the play goes this way.
Zone 2 on this play.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
They are not happy with what's happening in zone 2 on this play.
Okay.
And
That's
so one of the things that we are doing is allowing our umpire, for safety reasons, to get wider and deeper. And I would suggest one of our problems, Garth, has been that our umpires have been moving. Our umpires have been inside, probably, more stacked with the guard and the linebackers, and finding a spot, maybe, in there in that A gap kind of deal. And then they've got to come over here and see this edge block. So they're bananaing out, as we taught them, drop step and get out and banana out there. But that's a lot of movement. And I heard you talk about Walt Anderson's asking for us maybe to not move so much as officials. So I think we kind of ran into a good solution here by moving our umpire, for safety reasons, into a better position, like it is on this particular slide, where the umpire simply has it presented right in front of him. The other thing that they're saying, the coaches said, well, I thought the back judge had that block. And I don't know if our back judges are transitioning. As Garth said, our initial key was the tight end in this formation. And so did he get off his initial key and then transition when he saw the ball moving to away from the tight end to the short side? Did he transition and help out in zone 2 over the backside? So this is the slide we have to improve on. And we will. I promise.
We can talk a little bit more too when we see some video on this, and I'll give you some perspective on that for the referees so that you can coach up your back judges.
Okay.
The last one here just shows if it's a run up the middle. Basically, the referee and umpire just watching a group of guys. Okay, can't divide them up evenly, and the line of scrimmage just watch outside of that. So anything that goes up the middle, we just got to be real dynamic and look up the middle, and the back judge has got to support. Okay.
I had a question from John Sima. He was saying if our referees, most of them are staying on the right side of the quarterback. So these zone responsibilities are static. Because their positioning stays the same. Now the umpire can move if the umpire sees that the right tackle is, holding, and the defensive end is, complaining, and you want to look at him. You can move anywhere you want. You're the umpire. That's always been the case. This is our preferred positioning. If you are a referee that is moving back and forth with left-handed quarterbacks, and that's just because you can't break your old habits, then the umpire has to move over, and you've got to switch these. You've got to flop with the responsibilities. So that's why it was Hussey. John Hussey is the one who recommended that we explore staying on the right side of the quarterback. And you were there that night, Garth.
Yeah. It's a change we made. It just made sense. There's not that many left-handed quarterbacks. It gives you a consistent look. We found that it's been much better for us, and I've done both. When they moved us in the backfield, I was still on the field, and we flip-flopped, and it was just a different look all the time. So it made it more specific, which was really good. And you referenced Walt and his movement preferences, and this is based in science. And you listen to it at first and you go, it's kind of kooky, but the more you listen to it, the more you see it in practice, it works. Less movement, and Cheffers talks about this all the time. So does Correnti. They talked about it when we were doing the pack stuff. Purposeful movement, reason to move. Okay, and I have to laugh when I first started officiating, and there was first some video that we could watch. I remember watching it with Andy Castanola, and Andy was laughing at himself about the fact that he was running back and forth. He was going down and up and around and coming back and moving this way. And it was all movement he didn't need to make, and you don't know until you watch yourself.
Yeah.
So staying still, settling down, and moving with a purpose. And the umpire thing, I tried to use some high school video for this. It wasn't going to be practical, but I saw where there's 3 or 4 linebackers sometimes on some high school defenses. That creates a problem for the umpire to line up. So, he has to be able to move and be more dynamic because he's stuck with that, even being at 7, 8, 9 yards deep. But it doesn't detract from the fact that he has to transition from that center guard center to your zone immediately. When it goes away from you, it's real easy to do. When it comes to you, that's a little bit more problematic. But you got to get there, or you're going to miss stuff.
So going back to the previous slide, go back to the previous slide before you go to the film.
One second.
We're going to go back. We had a question about what could the line judge do to help. This is the run up the middle. And on this one, the back judge is going to look at second level to see that they're not holding the offensive players who are trying to get to the second level. But go to the slide before.
Hold on, Steve. I was trying to be really cool and do this, and now I'm gonna have to go back. So you want to go back to
right there.
This slide here?
Yeah, that's fine. Well, actually, I want the run. That's generalized zones. Let's move forward. There you go. Thank you. So that's exactly it. So on this particular one, the question was, what could the line judge do to help with the fact? No, don't go to generalize. Go down.
So you're a little bit behind me. So you want to be on.
I want the run that's going to the line judge. Yeah. I want the run going there. Yeah. So in this particular one, the umpire is the one we asked to really focus in on that zone 2. Back judge, get off your key and get over to zone 2. Line judge, if it presents, because you're going snap tackle, that tackle may be doing a stretch block on the defensive end, and that may present itself right to you, line judge. So that is a good point. The line judge being out there in zone 1, that may be presenting itself. Doesn't always happen. It could be a crack and a sweep to your sideline, and you don't have time to watch that crack, or because that slot receiver might come down and the edge block might be the wing there coming down and blocking the end. And you can sometimes be with that block, and sometimes now the runner is threatening and you've got to get to the runner. So line judge, stay out there in zone 1, and if it presents itself, fine. Also, referees on this, remember you're back in zone 3, so you got the herd. Make sure the herd's behaving themselves after, because the umpire's gone. He's left those people. And so our referees, really, Garth, I have to compliment them. They've been really good about watching zone 3, making sure those guys are behaving, and don't move as much as you used to. And this is, again, I'm taking what Garth said that Walt said, which is we used to race out there to get to the front of the play. And now we're not doing that. We don't necessarily need to race out there. You just want to move in the direction of the play, kind of like a stretch movement, stretch blocking. You just want to move, and then your eyes are back in here, and then your eyes eventually will clear and move out there, and your eyes will get out to the front. You don't have to physically get out there. Okay, let's see if there's any more questions. So the question is, so for positioning, we should be over the guard and tackle as 7 yards back. 7 to 10 yards, yes, minimum 7 to 10. And you can stack out as wide as you want to the outside shoulder of the tackle, as long as you can see the snap. You got to have a good look at the snap. So I can't tell you what that is. The defense presents the view for you. Thanks, Garth.
Yep.
Let's watch some movies. Movie time.
Movie time. So,
dog time.
The key thing about this with referees and umpires is, remember, when you have zone 2 or zone 3, you have somebody to the outside of you, okay? So don't be in a hurry to get out to the edge, because you should have a line of scrimmage person there. Another thing to what Steve was talking about is, let's say it's this person that you would start with, you're going snap, tackle, and then back, but you're gonna end up with this guy if you come left. Okay, if this guard pulls and goes this way and gets to the outside and he's on the outside edge, he's yours. Okay, you own him. We're not, the old thing used to be with the umpires is this guy pulled and you went with him, and then you left these two guys here. The key behind this is zone. If he leaves, you let him go. Okay, he's going to somebody else. Let him go. Okay. And he may be on the edge, and as a line person, you might be responsible for that. So,
Yeah, because you might have 51 doing some bad news things behind it to seal the backside. So that's you, a referee.
exactly. So, we'll let this run a little bit, and the bottom line here is I'm going to stop it a number of times, and I understand that I'm going to stop it, and it's real easy to stop it and say, hey, there's a picture in time, and go a little bit more, and there's a picture in time. But one of the things I learned from Mike Carey was you learn from video, and you can watch this and watch this and watch it and break it down. And so you end up putting into the videotape in your head. That's a Mike Careyism. Put in the videotape in your head. So when you get on the field, this is automatic. You're not thinking about it anymore. You're executing it. Okay. So video is the big tool. So at the snap, we're talking with the umpire, and he's watching these three people, right? Mm-hmm. That's his first key, okay? Now the ball gets snapped. What's the deal? Okay, we're going right. We know it's going right. The umpire, who in this case probably started right here,
yes.
is what we're telling. We're talking about 7 yards, so he's going to be about right here.
Uh-huh.
Okay, look, this is going to move a little bit on us, okay? But the play goes, the first thing he should be on is this block right here. He owns that block. Backside line of scrimmage owns this, okay? This right here, this is starting to bleed to the second level, okay? So the back judge needs to get there. He needs to come from out here into here. And the referee should be right here. Line of scrimmage is on this block. We've got everything covered with 5 officials.
Perfect.
We don't have the wide receivers covered, but unless they're doing something really stupid, and how many times do you call something really stupid on the guys that are way outside, like a UNR or a UNS or something like that at this time of the play? Not very often.
And the coaches know that, Garth. The coaches know that. When we talked about this and we said, well, what's your back judge doing? And I said, well, we've had him looking out here at zone 1 for the wide receiver blocking. And he goes, you guys never call that as a foul. And we shouldn't. It's not a part of the play yet, unless it's something really stupid, like you said. So we want our back judges now to be more involved, just as Garth is drawing up here.
And if it changes, what ends up happening if this changes and this double team here becomes nothing, well, if it gets outside, if the runner gets outside over here, well, now the referee should transition to here. The line of scrimmage should transfer to anybody who's blocking outside here that we can't see right now. Okay? Now, what you have to be able to do in this, especially with 5 officials, is be able to look at something and know that there's a serious, and I love using this word, a legitimate threat of a foul or not. If there's not a legitimate threat of a foul, which on this double team, it sure doesn't seem like there is one, get off of it. Go find some other trouble, okay? If you just stand with that double team this entire play, what are you doing, okay? And this play changes. So as this play develops, all of a sudden, where should the referee be? He should go from that double team on 51 and 66 to this block on 73.
Yes.
Okay, because that is becoming his point.
That's now the edge block.
It's on the edge block. And in the PowerPoint, you saw that zone 1 and zone 2 overlap each other. Okay, so we could have 2 looks on this. That's okay. We can have a look from this edge that might see a grab or something on the outside shoulder, and then we got the referee looking here. We still got the back judge watching on this block, may transition to here. Umpire can get off of this help here so the back judge can transition. So we got to be able to look at and dismiss, look at and dismiss, look at and find something problem, or look at problem, I'm staying here. And we need to dynamically do that for this to work.
And I wouldn't criticize, I would not criticize the back judge to stay with that 67 block if he felt like that's a one-on-one competition in the second level and he wants to make sure he doesn't, and he does grab, by the way.
Yeah, he does. So what happens on here is you want to look at this and say, okay, he grabs him. Okay, that's a foul. Okay, potentially, but the runner's down. Okay, now if this runner got to here, didn't get tackled and shot his butt up this way, there's a real serious potential for that to be a hold by 6-7.
Yep.
But now in 5-man, I would expect that as this gets on the edge, the referee has now gone from being here on a double team, which this guy was involved with, for being here, and now he gets to here, and now all of a sudden we got a problem out here. Okay, so we need to say, okay, I've got the widest guy as the edge becomes mine on our right-hand side here. So the line of scrimmage guy has got to be more dynamic. If we go look from the sideline here, okay?
So now, stop right here. Everything that you just went through on that play with the referee is now the umpire when it goes the other way. So all those transitions that you just took us through in terms of decisions to stay or move on, the umpire has to make those same decisions and be out there in a position to be able to do that.
Yes. So just to give you a macro view of this, okay, now as this runner comes to the edge, and let's say he breaks here, okay, we got some problems where this guy's, what, our mechanic is it still to back out and then look?
He will if he feels threatened, absolutely.
Right, if he feels threatened, he may back out of here, and the first thing he needs to do is, because this, we don't need to watch the runner, the referee's gonna be transitioning out this way, we gotta transition to this block here because we've got a block in the back potentially coming. Okay, so he calls this hold because he's got a hold on the edge. 73 grabs the defender when he gets to the outside, or 51, I don't remember which one this was on. It's on 70 is the guy who we called. No, it's not.
And the back judge may also get off of 67 after 67 quits grabbing, and it's not a hold. It absolutely is not a hold. It's a grab, but it's not a hold. So you may have been alert. And then here comes that wide receiver, and you've got to look to see about the potential block in the back. Back judge can make that transition as well.
Yeah, you've got a guy in chase mode here, which causes problems. Okay, so
Yep.
Let's move to the next one.
What?
Me? You're saying what to me? So same thing here. Here we go.
No, yeah, I thought you asked a question.
Oh, no, I probably a rhetorical one. So now we're going left.
Keep yelling.
Umpire's going to be in the, if it were this lineup, okay, our umpire's probably going to be about right here. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like him outside the shelter of 71 if he can see the ball. And he probably can.
So now it's coming my way. What should I be looking at? Okay, let's go to the back judge first. This bleeds. This is the first bleeder for him. Okay, so if he started over here, formationally, I don't remember what this is, but if he started over here,
I think starts 86 is a tight end.
Here's the bleeder.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a tight end. Yeah. So we don't. He doesn't need to be on the tight end. It's run play. Okay, the tight end gets owned by the backside line of scrimmage. Okay.
Yep.
So he's back here. The first thing he does is go from here. He's going to end up seeing, I think it's 79, who bleeds to the second level. Okay, he's his problem child. He owns this. Umpire owns this. Referee owns this. Front side line of scrimmage owns this, and the backside's got to be watching this right here. So we've got every confrontation watched. Now, again, there's going to be those who are in the audience that are going to say, well, that's real easy to stop it and do that. Yeah, it is. But if you don't practice it, you won't be able to execute it. If you practice it, it becomes second nature and you won't even think about it. Okay, look who these people are. Let's look at 61, 62, and 79. Okay, they're all three of the guys that were originally the umpires. Look, okay, there's no way for the umpire to see all three of those blocks. None. Okay, and every one of them's a threat. Outside the frame here, potential for foul. Already outside the frame, getting leveraged. Already outside the frame with the point going outside. All three of them are potential for fouls. And that's who has to be on these things. Cutback comes in, We got to hold here. We got to grab and restrict by this guy. There's no way the umpire's going to see this looking through. He's got too many bodies. He can see what's happening on this block. Back judge can see what's happening here. Okay, we're in good shape so far and everything, right? Referee gets gets the hold and the takedown. Runner cuts off of it. Boom. We've had everything covered. But if we did it the old way and we said, hey, I'm going to watch this tackle, and you're going to watch this tackle, and I'm going to watch this tight end, and the back judge is going to watch this tight end because that's who he stayed with. These three guys that are all a threat, that the umpire is only going to see maybe one of the blocks, and he's not going to see the one by the key guy 62 because he started back here, and he ain't going to see through.
Okay, I want to interrupt Scott. I'm going to interrupt Scott Carroll. I don't really understand the term switch and how it would apply to the umpire and the back judge, Scott?
Sorry, getting off mute. So when we have zones and we're moving to players that are in that zone and players move in and out, or that contest between two players moves into our zone and moves out of our zone. And since we're asking for the back judge to help out in zone 5, right, when it's going the way that, zone 2 is for the umpires that's going towards them. They get on that outside edge block, and then players move into that. I think there's going to be times, we're looking at this play, where a back judge and umpire might switch their view because of players moving in and out of the zone. And when deeps have a key and they move in and out of the zone, they flip and they talk about, hey, did you see that? Did you pick this up? Did you switch your key or switch your view? It seems to me like it'd be important to have that conversation too between an umpire and a back judge for plays like this to make sure that we're all in the same place and we're not having two people watching the same action when there's other action that could be watched.
Well, the thing I'm learning from Garth right now, right this moment today, is the back judge is moving from his initial key to that leakage into the second level. And that's something we have not been discussing as something the back judge should be looking at. And we will be now. So when 79 on this play leaks to that, appears to be, takes it to the next level, then that should present itself nicely to the back judge, as opposed to what I was saying before, which is the back judge needs to just hurry and get his eyes out to 71 because that's the potential edge block. I like what Garth is teaching us. I think it presents itself better to the back judge.
For that potential leak. If 79 were to pull then instead, and you have two blocks that are in that quote unquote zone,
then we're in the position you were talking about, where he might be getting now, he's working back across. If 43 was choosing to go to the left side and go wider and 79's pulling, now we're back in that other picture we had before. And now we're in more of the switch situation you're talking about. Possible.
I want to show you something here real quick. This is one of a game I did this week, and it just came to mind on a question about what we're looking for in our game for back judges to get. Bear with me a second. I might be able to find this pretty quick.
Okay.
No, that's a kickoff. I don't need
There's
that.
a comment while you're flashing through from Gary Gittleson saying, suggests that we're ball watching too much. Amen. Amen.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happens when we're expecting, and I'm biased here, I'm going to admit it, when we're expecting the umpire to watch a whole bunch of people and everybody else is watching their receiver. That tends to happen more in 7-man, okay? But maybe I can't find this doggone play. Doggone it. It was a great play that showed, it was even the left tackle, okay, that became the foul that was held. He was defensively held. Now, I got to remember, too, when we're watching these, this isn't just a problem with offensive holding. This is also a problem with defensive holding. Everything bleeds down, right? Everything at every level, it all bleeds up or it bleeds down, and everybody's a copycat. And so you see this and you go, wow, hey, that's a tough look to get on the defensive hold. There's no reason why we can't have back judges catching defensive linemen, holding offensive linemen trying to get out and block the backers or a strong safety or something like that. But that's the term I've used, is we're looking for bleeders. At back judge, I'm looking for my initial responsibility, and it could be this guy in this case, but all this area, I'm looking for the first bleeder. I'm looking for the first bleeder to the second level. And if I'm the umpire, let the bleeders go. Let them go.
Good.
Because there's plenty of people to watch in here. Plenty to watch. Okay.
Hey,
let's
Garth,
go to another.
can I back
Yes.
up a question? Again, these questions come in delayed. What does Walt say about, remember traditionally when the quarterback would run away from the referee, and in the old days, we would race after him to protect him. I think Walt is, as I'm hearing it, is not into running after quarterbacks.
Well, no, he's not. He's not into running after anybody, because if you go out and run, and if you have to take an eye test while you're running, you're going to fail. You know, we see best being settled. Is the science behind it. I buy into what he's saying. Can I speak to it 100%? No. Marlo probably can. Okay. But he talks about saccading with your eyes, which is tantamount to what I'm saying is look at, dismiss, look at, dismiss, look at, dismiss, or stay on one of those if it's a potential for a foul, but use your eyes to do that. You can turn and move your head much easier than you can your body. And the more still you are, the better look
And
you
that's
have.
what I'm suggesting our referees do. Instead of chasing them with your body and you're running wildly out there to quote unquote protect the quarterback, what you really want to do is be in a position to judge foul if he is fouled. Well, he's running right into other officials' responsibilities. So the idea that you have to race out there, I think, is an old adage. I would suggest that you can move in the direction, as I said before, kind of a slide or a stretch, you know, how they stretch block about that pace. You'll be moving across the formation, looking at zone 3. And then your eyes, once you've cleared, can then move to zone 2. And then eventually you're going to be out there with the quarterback or even faster. But your eyes can get there. You just don't have to physically get there. Thanks, Garth.
And you know, it's not, to me, it's not, I don't know, I facetiously, but actually seriously, also call our referees God watchers, because they're supposed to watch the quarterback. Quarterback's God in the NFL. If he gets hurt, the franchise is in trouble. Oh my God, what's going to happen? So I jokingly call him the God watcher. Okay, well, guess what? Everybody else should be qualified enough to know what a foul is. If a quarterback slides, I would expect everybody on my crew to understand what is a foul and what isn't a foul against him. We take tests on that, right?
Right.
So
Correct.
Quarterback slides and he's giving himself up. You should be able to judge at whatever position you're at. Line judge, head lines person, or down judge, or whatever you call it now, back judge, umpire. Everybody should be able to say, you know what? He had choices. He could have jumped over the top, the defender, or did he come in? Did he hit him in the head neck area? And I don't know all the rules for high school, but everybody should be able to judge on those things. So the God watcher doesn't have to be right on the guy's heels. Maybe the best look is the line judge.
There you go. Hey, we have 138 viewers. That's a world record, Garth. Congratulations. Can we go another 30 minutes? It's 8 o'clock, and I think we're just getting into the meat and potatoes of this. So I'd like everybody to go another 30 minutes. If you can't, you can't. Is that okay with you, Garth? Let's keep going.
I'll go as long as you want, Steve.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so another play here. So, you know, tried to pick things that would give us different options. You know, I talked about the puller. Look at 62, okay? 62 is vacated. We don't want the umpire chasing them. We certainly don't want the umpire chasing them. So let's break this down as it goes. If I'm the umpire, okay, I'm going to be back here now, probably in about this position, not quite that wide.
Yep.
I'm going to be about right here, okay? Maybe even a little tighter. Let's say here, just for the heck of it. Okay, 62 disappears on me. Okay, where's my block? I'm on this right here. Okay, that's my first block. Referee, that's your block. Line of scrimmage is in here someplace. Back judge is looking for bleeders. Okay, he's looking for the first thing that comes out, And back here, we're looking around like this. Okay, play evolves. 62 now is on the edge. Who owns 62? Line of scrimmage owns him. Okay, you just bought him. He just came outside. You own him. He's a big guy, and he's looking for somebody to pulverize. Referee, okay, you started on
And he's in
76.
space. And when you get a
He's
big guy
in
like that in
space.
space, he's not real good.
Some great athletes, okay, but shorter, quicker, faster kids can maneuver around those guys. But he's in space and he's at a little bit of a disadvantage, maybe prone to holding. Now the referee started on these two guys, okay? These guys have bled to the second level along with 85. So the back judge needs to be on all this stuff. Umpire, we got nothing really going on back here. He's just kind of walling them off. We can transition here and help as well. But now the referee's got a problem because 71's becoming a problem for him. He can't see these guys anymore. Let them go. Okay, I transition to this. This is my threat at referee. Okay, this is my threat at line of scrimmage. Back judge, umpire, we got to be looking in this area. Okay, and be dynamic enough to say what happens, happens. What happens if 25, what happens if 42 comes through here and 25 sees it and cuts right off him? Okay, we've got a lot of potential for blocks out here and for some explosion of running game. It doesn't happen, but as you see this, the umpire's got to be able to move this way and try to get some kind of a look. But key on this is always the point of attack and always the edge. So the block by 62 is most key. Block by 71 is second most key because the runner comes off of this and 71, is this a hold? Right at the runner, I don't think so because the runner thing is by there and before there's even a chance for him to know it, he's in trouble. 42 also double teams on this and blocks him. But if we're not there, we don't get it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not going to be a pretty picture. We're not going to be able to, when we get to this point, draw pretty little boxes for everybody. And on the PowerPoint, it has a pretty little box. You know, this is one, and here's another, and here's another one. It's just not quite that pretty. Okay, you just have to be able to say, okay, look at the PowerPoint and then apply it to what we have, and what are we looking for? Back judge is always looking for the bleeders. Line of scrimmage has always got pretty much this person. Okay, the person on the edge.
Other than our very, very best running back in the county, they don't run like 25. He's very alert. Eyes are looking for any crease, and he's going to cut. And this play is going to go any number of ways. Our backs, they're just designed to run to the hole. They're just going to keep going. So
yeah, so they probably want to go out here, so he's probably going to get out to the edge.
Yeah, but yeah, they got a bad defense to
this is
run
McCoy,
against.
and even after all his years, he's still pretty shady. So, but again, you look at this from the big view here, and this is a tight formation. This is probably, you see this probably a lot. Okay, this is just a pro formation, and if we have anybody watching these two guys out here, they're wasting their time. Unless there's been some trouble earlier in the game, or it's a rivalry game, or these guys live in the same neighborhood, but they go to different schools. We're wasting our time looking there. From the macro view, we're looking here. We're looking for what's happening here. Referee, you can see is in here. If we're the umpire and we're here, we're looking in here for problems. And we're looking for the bleeders right here at back judge. Gives you just a different perspective of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we get this a lot, I had this an argument today about the one I wanted to show you with one of my cohorts, was about, oh, well, we just want the back judge starting inside with the center guard center looking for stuff. No, look for tackle to tackle. Look for those people that get to that second level that we can't account for. We can't account for them in 7-man unless the back judge is on them. You certainly can't account for them in 5-man unless the back judge is helping out. Okay?
Okay. So there's a question about once the player breaks the line of scrimmage. Gary Burgos asked, so the referee, when the quarterback goes out of bounds, who protects the quarterback, who protects God? My my idea is that as you're moving in the direction of that run, you're going to still be in proximity to observe the quarterback unless he disappears into the masses of the sideline. The back judge is also moving back there, and he moves to the sideline, and then you have your flank official as well. Now, umpire's not, he's going to have an eye in that area as well. So we have a lot of eyes on that those guys going out of bounds, and somebody's going to have a view of what's going on.
Right.
When a run moves downfield for a nice gain, talk about the transitioning away from zone coverage to open field coverage.
That's a great
Yeah,
question.
I understand the eyes part. I was more concerned with, if the pileup is out of bounds and, if it's less than a 3-yard gain or near the line of scrimmage. It used to be that the referee was in chase mode and was already out of bounds, gathering the quarterback and escorting him back in while the flank official holds a spot on the sideline. So I was just wondering what's going to be different if we're going to stop and watch and have eyes on the sideline, and all of a
I
sudden
didn't say stop. I
Okay.
never said stop. I never said stop. I said you're going to move at a different pace. I'd like you to move at a slower pace. And then if you see a quarterback threatened into the side zone, then we can hustle our bat. There's no reason for us to be jogging at that point, right? It's the end of the play.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you know what? What's going to happen to that guy out of bounds is going to happen to him. Okay. And I'm going to guess that most of us aren't quick enough to stay with him. Okay. So here's what I suggest, but this is a Steve Coover decision. I'm the lines person. I have him go out of bounds. Quarterback goes out of bounds to my side. I drop a beanbag and I go in and get him. And I'm going to tell my down judge or head linesman on the other side of the field, you see him go, you better hold that spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
We use cross-field mechanics, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
routinely.
if I'm on one side of the field and the ball goes the other way and all hell breaks loose out of there, I better have a spot so that when everything comes out of the wash, I got a spot. So drop a beanbag. Somebody can kick it. I understand and I get all those kinds of arguments. But on the backside, the line scrimmage person, you have the big picture, know where your linesman left the sideline. You can tell that. He drops a beanbag, you hold that spot. Even if you have to come into the field to try and help, you hold the spot. And then when the referee gets there, you can help escort him out. Okay?
Thanks, Garth. Hey, just keep in mind you want to show us a play that actually goes for a run and it's maybe a 10 or 15-yard run so we can look at the transition. Oh, there you go. Okay.
This one
Never
kind
mind.
of does that. Okay, I got lucky, but I can go find it. It just takes time, but I'm glad I have it. So on this one here, same thing. We've got some misdirection. I learned something this year that in our game, when there's a back like this who's not flexed, he would be flexed if he was here. He's not flexed, and he is in a position where you watch our game. This guy is not. He's inside here where he can't come back down inside easily to come across the formation. They call this in offenses, call this guy the hawk. He's going to come across the field and block, which he does. You can see him, and they call him the hawk. So we learned something, and we've taught our guys to look for this hawk when he comes across the formation. Usually tells us where balls are going. But anyway, so this play starts. And it gives us the impression that the run is going this way. Now, I know the back is already cut back, but we got umpire. You start with him. Umpire is about here now, okay? Maybe inside a little bit where the goalpost is. Play comes this way. The first thing we have to do is say, line of scrimmage. Umpire's watching this block. This guy looks like he's a bleeder to the second level. Referee's got to be here. Line of scrimmage is watching this, but it's probably going to transition pretty quick because the point comes our way. So now, what are we doing? Referee's still here, line of scrimmage here. We've got to transition and realize that this is going outside on the back judge and get a transition to 76. Umpire's here, nothing's happening. Transition to this block. Line of scrimmage is going to own a lot of these on the back side, okay?
Yeah.
We get outside, now all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. Now all we need to do is triangulate this stuff. Back judge should be getting here. Umpire's going to transition watch here. referee somewhere in here, line of scrimmage in here. We're all looking from our perspective into our piece of the pie to get a look. Okay, I don't know if I
Yeah,
can do this.
by the time it's the end of the run, we've all kind of converged our visions in that. Yeah, exactly. Because everything else, unless you're zone 4 and you've got the wide view, you're pretty much going to transition into something around that in that circle.
Yep. So, but here's the threat. This guy right here is the threat, right? And the referee, this was
Yeah.
your guy. Let me go back to my arrow here. I apologize. This is the one. He's being pulled off the runner right at the point. I defy anyone to say that that's not a hold, because if I tell you you can get $1,000 and get to 30, but I can do what 77's doing, you ain't gonna get the $1,000. And he gains another 5 yards. So in this case, the umpire gets it, and we have different mechanics, obviously. But you know what? He's not just watching. He's not just watching these guys. In our mechanics,
Yeah.
we probably say, "Watch this." He goes, "That's nothing. I'm going to transition." He goes here and he gets it. Referee, I don't think gets it. Referee doesn't get it. I like this crew. Both of these guys were the referee on this crew was a umpire with me for a while. I like this crew. I've had them the last 3 weeks grading, but you can see how this changes dynamically. Okay, if I'm the back judge, I got to stay with this because this is still a threat. If I'm the referee, I got to stay with this as this is a threat. If I'm the umpire, I can go big picture and start looking at what might happen. If I'm line of scrimmage, same thing. And everything gets into this one that's gone for about 12 yards. Okay, but this is the picture. We've got to say, okay, there is no zone anymore. It's a great question. Zones disintegrate after a while, and I would say most plays last less than 3 seconds, probably more like around 2. So those zones start to disappear. All this happens in a blink of an eye. It really does.
Yeah.
But so you've got to be able to work this in your head so that it becomes automatic where you're looking. Again, it goes back to the Careyism. You need to watch a lot of video and put this stuff in your head and saying, when these happen, I need to do this. And our guys have transitioned very well. Very well.
Here's the key. If you don't work at this, you're going to ball watch. If you don't work consciously at trying to discipline yourself in what you're looking at in these transitions, then the easy default is just ball watch. So you'll just be a ball watcher again. So I know you guys are working hard at this, but it's really difficult. And I encourage you to keep at it, and you will be really happy with the results.
I'm going to look for a play that comes left here. Now, most offenses are right-handed, okay? So it's going to be probably...
Okay, this is a stretch. This is a zone block, stretch zone blocking.
Right. But most offenses are right-handed, so the umpires are, in most cases, going to be looking at those backside blocks. But there are a number of plays, and so they probably don't get as much experience with looking at those front side blocks in that zone too. So that's where you've got to work on those things and look for plays like this. Okay, so here we go. If we're the umpire, and again, we're starting here probably between the paws here of the lion, right? Probably about there, maybe a little deeper in this case, just much bigger.
You can even shade outside that tackle if you can see in there. You can be with that left foot. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there, but probably about right here. Again, if you can see the ball. Okay, so play goes, boom. Okay, where's the umpire got to be? We're coming this way. He's got to be on this block to start. Okay, back judges on this one that bled. Line of scrimmage is here. If we didn't have a threat with this, well, I'm sorry. We're going from the other side. Sorry, I apologize. Okay.
You got an extra guy in this.
So what happens here is the umpire's got to be on this block here. Okay.
Yes.
It's going to become problematic for him because 60's coming to the second level and is going to obscure him. I think to the question earlier where you might switch, don't switch unless there's no threat. if I'm the umpire and there's not a threat on the block by 77, that I could get off and get on this block here, okay? But as quick as things become blurs, it's better for, in this case, for the back judge to stay on that. You'll see here that there's the potential for him getting hooked here, but there's also potential for a foul here. So really what we should have is, did it again. Umpire stays with this block. This was our bleeder. Referee here.
And if
Okay. We started in zones.
you're on the, you're on the wrong side of the formation. This official down at the bottom of the screen is the umpire, isn't he?
Yes.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the umpire, yeah, this is our umpire, yes.
Yeah,
He's
that's your
gonna be
umpire.
over
He's
here.
not it. He's going to be over there. What about the umpire looking at the block on 68 and those outside blocks, that reach blocks on the edge, and then let the referee get in there to 77, 76. So the umpire is helping out on zone 2 farther out on the stretch.
He
So
can be out there, but
80,
he can be here.
87 and yeah, exactly. And
This
then the
becomes little
referee
bit of
has a nice,
stretch for the referee to get here though, Steve. I think,
but the
what
referee's he's got vision into 77.
oh yeah, I would say here, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, not this backside. Yeah, that one.
He
Yeah,
has to, I think he needs to transition there, not just go there, okay? In this case, I would agree with you. He's gonna end up starting with 76, not a threat for foul, go here.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
The umpire's gonna start with this, and the back judge has gotta stay on this. He's the
Yeah.
bleeder. If he bleeds out there,
I like
it's
that
a
fit
problem.
better.
It's a
I
problem
like
to
that
see.
fit better.
Start
And that's
here,
the one that
go here.
this is exactly the one that the coaches were concerned about. And they're not concerned about that inside block. And I'm not concerned that the referee isn't going to get that. I think he's got a beautiful look at that, and he's going to transition off that 76, 77. He's going to have his eyes right there. Beautiful. The deep one with the back judge, that's a perfect fit. That bleeder back there in the lion back there. Yeah, he's reaching for that guy. And then that's a back judge call. That's definitely a back judge call back there when he wraps him up, if he does wrap him up. That's the center
So what's gonna happen
trying to get
here
out.
is, if you remember, the umpire was starting here, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so he's gonna step up, and he's gonna walk out this way a little bit. And to your point, Steve, this is great. You're right. He's gonna be on this block. Okay, now this block with 60 is gonna go across him. Don't be tempted to go to it. If he went to the second level, let him go. The back judge has got to be the guy on this block.
yeah,
You can't be
Yeah.
switching around, especially when you have threats. We have a lot of action in here, and we're hoping the referee's gonna get it transition from 76 here to that block.
Mhm.
That's gonna be a tough
Mhm.
look. But I hear what you're saying. You want because of the problems you have that are unique, you want the umpire out
I
on that
want
block
him
by.
exactly, because our back is going to, in high school, is going to drive for that edge. That's what he's going to do. He's not going to cut. If he cuts back up in that zone, it's going to be it's going to plant and cut. 33 is going to put his foot in the ground and cut up the field. But generally 33 is going to keep going wide. And that's where our umpire has been in the old positioning, had to work all the way from over the center, all the way, try to get out there as this play's moving away from him. And we were not getting there. So
Yeah,
now
he was
we're
there.
wider and we're deeper and we're already there.
And if you open up and
Love
move
it.
that way, it's gonna help. And I agree with you. Sometimes I get a little myopic here and I forget that I've got a guy back here and a guy out here helping it as well. So I dismiss that out to the outside. So for 5 men, it makes perfect sense. What you're saying is I'm gonna get out on 68. Okay, referee's gotta start here and dismiss and then get to here as quick as he can.
Yeah.
As he's reading point of attack. And then the back judge can be on this block right here. As a
We have
bleeder.
10 minutes. 10
Okay.
minutes.
Let's see here, I got another one.
See, now-
This is
So if we did that, now you stopped it right there, That umpire would have been in perfect position. Perfect. All right,
Yes.
let's go see the Rams.
Okay, let's see the Rams, or the Lambs and the Chargers. Okay, so this is about this is about the zone. Zone's just disintegrating.
Oh,
Okay?
by the way,
First
this
thing it
formation, hey, Garth, this formation is very popular right now coming into high school. See the bunch on the right?
Yep.
That's a run, not necessarily a pass formation. That is a run
Right.
formation. And what they're doing is they're bunching receivers over there, and the defense can't fit the run. They don't have enough people to cover all the gaps. And they love to run short side out of the bunch away.
They're going to give the ball to 17 here. And so what happens is this disintegrates, okay? Is this is all outside zone, okay? And they're all reach blocking, okay? So everybody gets overloaded, okay? And your umpire is starting probably about here, right? Probably
Yeah.
about this
Farther
this
out.
formation.
Farther out. Keep moving them
About
out.
here, outside, inside shoulder.
Yeah. Oh, I like him on the outside shoulder.
Of the outside shoulder of the tackle.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's out here.
Let
So
the play
he's at
present itself to you. They're going to, yeah.
He's right here on the helmet. So as this goes, originally we're like,
So they got a
okay,
nose guard in there.
What's that?
As long as they can see the snap, they got a nose on that ball. So I don't
Yeah,
know
they
if
gotta
the
see
center
the-
can actually see. Yeah, he can see it if he's out there. Yeah.
We actually
think
took our
so.
umpires off, Steve. They don't even have the ball anymore. So this starts to stretch. The first thing we're doing is we're looking here and saying, okay, it's coming this way, so we should all be in here. We're looking in here at the umpire. Now all of a sudden, everything disintegrates. And this kind of goes to your point earlier. Someone asked the question, what do I watch? Well, we got a transition, okay? So now, as the umpire, I got a transition. If I stay in here, I'm wasting my time. The ball's not in there anymore. And too often in high school and in college especially, you see these umpires that are watching this. I'm gonna let this run a little bit further. All of a sudden 17's down there and you got an umpire who's watching crap back here. And I defy you to tell me how many times guys have called fouls back there. It's a zero, it's a goose egg.
None.
You got to move with the
Yeah.
flow of the play. So the first thing that happens here is if I'm the umpire who started here, I'm transitioning to watch this block, which I would expect the
Yeah.
back judge to probably do as well. Okay?
Yep.
So Mr. Whitworth goes out there and he puts his two big paws on the guy and he pulls him out of the hole.
And go back to the original formation of where we had our umpire. Go back.
Yeah, we have him right here.
Okay, so we have our umpire sitting right at the rim of that helmet, right? Watch how the play comes to him. He's
Yeah,
gonna run
and
right
you don't
into
have to
him.
move. Yeah.
He doesn't even
You
have to
could
move.
actually- No, maybe a step backwards. Maybe he goes back a little bit of a step because the backer comes this way. If the backer reacts the same, and and he doesn't need to worry about this block. Nobody does. You know who needs to worry about this? The line of scrimmage. The umpire's been here. He backs out. He's all over this, and the referee's got nothing going on. He can help watch as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's
And
got the
boom.
herd.
Yeah, he's got the herd.
And then
Now
eventually, look at that. The referee who has the herd, they're doing nothing. There's no foul. They're free of foul. Then you can now get your eyes and your movement, like the center judge, your umpire is doing right now. He's starting to jog and move toward the play. So now we're moving, up the field. Yep.
And you know, it's just he's on this side of the ball, but it's the same look. I want the umpire in 5-man to get this block. Okay, and the umpire in 7-man, that's where he's looking. Boom, he goes. He transitions. Okay.
What
I
did the
don't have him
back
watching
judge
this
call on this? What did the back judge call on this?
It's the umpire.
as well.
No,
He
it's a
called the
back
holding
judge.
as well. Because he transitioned there. So what's happened, we've taught our back judges.
The umpire throws.
But so
and-
does the back judge.
Yeah. I bet they have the same
So
one.
do they have the same one, Garth? You know.
The same hold?
Yeah.
Yes. They both call the same foul. We've taught the back judges, okay? Now, we'll go to the sideline and look at this, okay? We'll just look at the formation, okay? So now, but formationally, in the past, before 2 years ago when we changed this, because again, something I got tired of and I convinced Al to do it, is the back judge was looking in here, this guy was looking in here, and this guy, they were all looking in here at the pin man here. We had 3 guys watching one until they declared. Okay, then it went run. Guess what happened? Let me let it run here a little bit. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, here's what happened. All of a sudden, he's watching him, he's watching here, and the back judge is still in here, and we've got a guy going across the formation. Okay, now we taught him and said, okay, guess what? This is run. So the first thing I'm gonna do is look at a bleeder. There he is. He ain't doing nothing. Okay, I'm gonna transition out. I'm gonna go from my bleeder here to here. Okay, open space, as you said earlier, open space.
Yeah.
I got a double hook or lobster block, as they call them, double hook over the top of the shoulders, and he just pulls him away from the runner, right at the point of attack. And I get 2 flags on it.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep. And that's because our eyes, when we get downfield, our eyes are all converging now, transitioning to that circle around the play. Great. Outstanding.
And not the runner. Who, you know, don't watch. Jerry Seaman always used to say, don't guard space. You know, the runner pretty much takes care of himself. Okay.
Last play.
Okay, so we're going away from the umpire here, okay? And so the same type of thing. We break this down and, okay, what do we got here, okay? At the initial part, I'm the umpire. I'm probably going to be here this time because we're the backers.
You're going to have
I really
to.
don't want here.
Yeah, the backers, yeah.
So the umpire's going to probably be right about here, okay? Play goes.
Yep.
We're going to say it's about just a tiny, about the elbow where he is now. We're going to say about right there, which is maybe 1/4 of the blue on the Seahawk.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Play goes, what am I looking? I'm looking right here as the umpire, and I'm looking right here at the referee and line of scrimmage, and then we've got this. This is all real simple here, okay? It's all real simple. Now it goes a little further.
So in this case, the umpire does
got?
not have to transition off his key initially.
He doesn't have to transition off of it because you know what? It happens pretty
right
quick. Got a takedown right at the point. Okay. Now you might have the referee on that, but I don't think you need him on that. He should be on that block by the right tackle by 78. That's his threat. That's his threat. Boom, I'm out here on this. If this potentially 53 were to bleed off of here, fine. But the back judge can just get a big view. He might even be on this.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's just all about zone.
And if the referee were to get that, it's because it presented itself to him. And that's fine. It's just your eye went there. You saw bad color. You saw opponent's color. Guy's getting beat. So your eye's going to go there naturally.
Yeah. And on the surface, if this is the first time you've seen this, you think, oh my God, there's just no way this works. It does. You practice it, you work it. If you're working in a crew environment, even if you're not, and it's different guys every week that you're working with, if everybody buys into this, it's not a perfect, but it's much better than just watching your guy. Okay?
Yeah.
And strictly speaking, from an umpire's perspective, I got tired of watching 6 people and nobody else helping. And this alleviates that. This makes it very simple. Everybody has their zone. Hey, they block in zones. They have zone blocking. They have inside blocking. They have outside zone, inside zone, outside zone. It's all about zones. We should officiate in zones. And given 5 people, you only have 5 people, this makes it even more important to work zone on these.
So what I would suggest, and thank you, Garth, I would suggest crews when you're breaking down film, we just want you to know that find good plays where everybody seems to be looking where they're supposed to be looking. Don't just find bad stuff. Find good stuff. The bad stuff's going to come. You're gonna find times where you didn't get it right, and we'll improve. But make sure you're patting your guys on the back that when the umpire is in good positioning, when he's using good movement, when his eyes are not on the ball carrier, but he's looking at the right block. Not necessarily because he calls a foul. Sometimes when you see something and you pass on it, it's a great no call. It could be a Super Bowl no call. because you saw the whole action. You saw a grab and a release, and then it wasn't an advantage gained, and you don't throw. And the coach cries for a foul, and you say, I saw that block the whole way. That action was legal. And that's Super Bowl, so make sure you're supporting your guys and patting them on the back as we challenge ourselves with this. And then obviously find those places where we can improve. Garth, there's a million emails saying, thank you, Garth. Friggin' awesome. There's cussing going on.
I like cussing. I can start in if you want.
No. We're videotaping this, by the way.
Well,
I just want to say,
I'll offer this out. I know your season's going to be very different this year. I don't think you even start playing until maybe New Year, and that's about the time my season starts winding down. I wouldn't normally do this because of the workload we have during the week. But as we get into the season, if you have something, I have access to Huddle because of Steve. And so if there's something you want to say, hey, listen, can you help us with this type of play? If it got to be too much, I'll say something, but I can go into Huddle. I can look. I can give you suggestions on some things because your
so
season's
Garth
really
is in Huddle. So if you guys want to send something to Garth, just go and share it with Garth. Just send him. Don't send him 10 plays, and don't do it now. But when we start, and he's slowing down, and when's the Super Bowl?
everything's on schedule for us, and if some teams are still stupid, they're just going to end up getting forfeited. But nothing's changing for us, and I'm not traveling. So once the pro season starts, I don't even know that we'll be evaluating the games, so it's hard to say. But once January hits, my workload will significantly reduce.
All right.
Okay.
So let's save it for our in-season stuff. And again, if you have any questions, just share it to Garth and put your comments in when you share it. Again, Garth, on behalf of the association and the 100 and whatever 38 guys that were on here, thank you very, very much. We're much appreciated.
My pleasure. Thank you for asking me. I always enjoy talking with you people, and it's my roots, and I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it weren't for the association. In spite of the fact that I persevered, even though my first high school game was with Nate, I still was able to do well. I see he got his mouth covered, so he's probably bad-mouthing me.
How about those head coaches I stuck you with, Garth? You survived that first year.
That was my next year. That was my first year on a crew when Bob Hood put me with all the bad coaches because I trusted him.
Well, wait a second. I know, Mr. DeFelice, is A, I know I made you better. And B, I know you said you didn't do bad, but that's up to, personal opinion.
Okay. I'll take that because I know all the bad I've done. Trust me.
Thanks, Garth.
All right, guys.
My pleasure.
Thanks so much.
For including me. Yep.
Take care, everybody.
Yep. Take care.
Bye now.
Thanks, Steve.